your arms, and then both of your legs, and then we will eat your face right off your
Look,
head.
man.
You will be this armless, legless, faceless thing, won't you? Rolling down the street like a turd in the rain.
What the hell are you?
We are Venom.
Everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of the Soul Canadians. I'm Scotty V. Now today I'm going to be talking about Venom. Yes, the Venom movie did come out in the beginning of October, and now it's a financial success, and I guess success with the fans. And I'll be talking about how Venom is going to affect Spider-Man in the MCU. Now, with Venom being a financial hit, and nobody really expected Venom to be a hit. We all thought it was just going to be a failure and it's going to fall flat in its face. But you know what? Venom surprised us. It surprised the hell out of me because I didn't know that it was going to be a hit that it is. Right? Usually Spider-Man and Venom go together. Right? Somehow, some way, they made Venom work without Spider-Man. And you know what? It was an alright movie. I didn't really like it, like how I do the Spider-Man movies. It was alright. It was decent. It passed. Just I was a little disappointed with the film just because I wanted to see some Spider-Man reference. Like there was nothing. The only reference to the Spider-Man mythos was New York. He left New York to go to San Francisco because he was a disgrace of New York. That's it. Who comes from New York? Spider-Man. But not a single mention. Now I can theorize this that in this universe Spider-Man's dead or Spider-Man never existed. That's a possibility, and it's kind of weird to say a world without Spider-Man. Well, Sony made one. They're going to make a Morbius film, a Craven film. Totally unnecessary. You're taking away the good stuff from the MCU. They could use those characters. And the sequel, they're going to use Carnage. Like, Carnage? Why? Like, okay, we all want to see Carnage on the big screen, but I do not trust Sony Pictures. I do not. I'm sorry, I do not. Now, because Spider-Man is in the MCU, we're never going to see the black suit. It's reality, my friends. We're never going to see the symbiote black suit in the MCU because Sony was being a little bit greedy, and you know, they took a risk, and it worked apparently, and so now the symbiote will be staying in the Sony Venom verse, whatever you want to call it. Um, Tom Hardy, I think, was just because Tom Hardy is Venom, made the movie what it is, and because that guy's a phenomenal actor. Like I can't believe the roles he's been in. And the last superhero role I think he was in was Bane, if I'm not mistaken. He did good in Bane. He did really good as Bane. I liked him in Mad Max Fury. He did really good in that. But I really want to see Spider-Man and Venom cross paths. I want to see Peter get the symbiote, but because Spider-Man's in the MCU, that ain't happening. Now, with the financial success of Venom, MCU is kind of tied now, Marvel Cinematic Universe, because the contract with Spider-Man is almost up. They already featured him in a few movies: Captain America: Civil War, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Avengers: Infinity War, and Spider-Man: Far From Home. And I think he's going to be in Avengers 4. So that's already his contract. And Marvel does trilogies. They did it with Captain America. You got 3 Captain America movies. You got 3 Thor movies. You got 3 Iron Man movies. Now they have to complete Spider-Man. Now, there's no way. I don't think Disney will allow Sony just to completely take back Spider-Man. Sony made the deal with Spider-Man because they were in trouble, and the executives of Sony said, "Make a deal, or we're in trouble." So they ended up doing that. If Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't fail as bad as it did, financially it made its money back, but critically, the fans didn't receive well to it. Like they didn't like it. So because of that, they were forced to make a deal with Marvel, and that deal was the best thing they made because I remember I crapped myself when that deal was announced. Now, after Spider-Man Far From Home, this is where it gets tricky. Sony is looking at their financial success and Spider-Man. right? Marvel makes all the Spider-Man movies. They have the creative control, I believe, on Spider-Man, but Sony says yes or no for the final ones, right? In terms of costume designs and all that. So I have this weird feeling that Sony is going to take back Spider-Man after Far From Home, but they're not going to use Tom Holland. They're going to recast Spider-Man for their own universe. Maybe even bring back Andrew Garfield. I hope not. He was one of the worst Spider-Mans. I did not like. I'd rather have Toby or Tom, one or the other. Um, so now I have this weird feeling Spider-Man is gonna go back to the MCU, back to Sonyverse. Sorry, excuse me. That's not a good thing because Spider-Man. Tom Holland is such a fantastic Spider-Man. When I was younger, I thought Tobey Maguire was the Spider-Man. No, Tom Holland is Spider-Man. He's a kid, how Stanley intended him to be. Girl troubles and no money. But I don't think and Peter Parker in the MCU is not struggling with money because he's with Tony Stark, and I'm pretty sure Tony Stark would be like, yeah, here's 100K, take it, support your family, your aunt. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like Sony's just gonna take it back, and Sony's just laughing because they didn't think it was going to be a success. They took a risk, like how Marvel took a risk with Guardians and a whole bunch of other movies. It worked for them, and I guess the fans liked Venom. Like, Venom looked comic accurate. Just the only thing that was missing was the White Spider. And I don't know if they can do the White Spider at this point because, you know, the White Spider came from Spider-Man, right? The first human host the symbiote had was Peter Parker Spider-Man, right? Now, I thought the symbiote was supposed to alter Eddie Brock's mood and mentality, but see, it did. It just went on him just to survive, right? Tom Hardy did the voice of Venom, by the way, which is good. At the end of Venom, they did tease Carnage, and as Deadpool says, lazy writing. When I get out of here, there's going to be carnage. Lazy writing indeed. Tom Holland and Tom Hardy, they have to share a scene together. Marvel, Sony, you guys have to bring them together. Come on, guys. Sony, look what you did with the deal with Marvel. Look how good that turned out. I was literally jumping for joy when I saw that first teaser of Spider-Man and Captain America Civil War. I jumped because I couldn't believe his eyes moved. I was like, yes, Marvel knows what they're doing with Spider-Man. Sony didn't have a clue. After Spider-Man 3, they had no clue what they were doing. First, they went with The Amazing Spider-Man with the untold story about his parents. Dude, nobody cares about his parents. And then you brought that story back in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and you didn't follow up to it. It's like, okay, they're dead. And then that deleted scene with his father coming back. What nonsense was that? See, ever since Spider-Man 3, Sony has had trouble creating Spider-Man. The people at Sony don't, it shows in their work, they don't care about Spider-Man. They care about the visual effects and how he looks, but they were not story driven, they were action driven. That's the problem with Sony. That's why they let Marvel make a deal with them, because Marvel is more story driven, right? Look at Captain America. A nerdy kid, or not a nerdy kid, but a very tiny skinny kid who became a super soldier, helped won World War II. You got the Winter Soldier, following up to the loss of his friend in the first movie, and then him being a Hydra agent and Hydra being in S.H.I.E.L.D. the whole time, and then you got Civil War with the Avengers. Their best friends fight each other. Thor, you got the same thing. You got Thor, his origin, how he was an arrogant man, wanted to be king and all he wanted was war. Second one, you go into the Dark World, fighting back an ancient evil with the Dark Elves and the Infinity Stone. And then the third one, Ragnarok, the end of all things. Iron Man, same thing. Him becoming Iron Man. Iron Man 2 dealing with his demons. And then Iron Man 3, the aftermath of New York and everything else. See, Marvel has a formula. Sony was trying to do the same thing with the Amazing Spider-Man. It didn't work. Now with Venom working, they're obviously going to make a sequel, Venom 2, and that post-credit scene that we saw in Venom is leading up to a Venom sequel where Venom is going to fight Carnage. I would I would have built Carnage up for the third movie because I know they're going to make a trilogy. Like, as much as I didn't want Venom to succeed, even though Venom is like my second favorite character, they're gonna make a sequel, and this is gonna affect Spider-Man big time because now that the contract is up after Spider-Man Far From Home, I don't know how or when they're gonna make a deal because there's no way Marvel is gonna just give up on Spider-Man like this. Yeah, we had our fun, take him. They're getting the X-Men, they're getting the Fantastic Four. They want to incorporate Spider-Man into all that kind of stuff. Now, if I was Sony, I would be smart, make another deal, make another 6-film cameo, whatever, on Spider-Man, because what Marvel built for Sony works. The only thing I would tell Sony is stop being lazy and making the posters, because I think it's them that's making them. Same Iron Man pose in all the pictures. Like, come on. So yeah, this does affect Spider-Man to a certain degree, and this may affect the new deal that will be coming with Spider-Man. And Venom box office is crazy. I think it beat all the Spider-Man movies. It beat Justice League. That shows you DC's in a lot of trouble. They're in deep water. Now Aquaman's coming out in December. This is the only DC movie coming out in 2018. I know that's kind of weird to say. Marvel already had 3. They already had Black Panther, they had Avengers Infinity War, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. DC only had Aquaman. So that's a big problem. But anyways, so this is the end of the video. So Venom's success is affecting Spider-Man to a certain degree. Let's just hope Spider-Man stays in the MCU. Sony and Marvel can make a deal, or Disney can just take out their big checkbook and say, "Okay, we'll buy Spider-Man for X amount, dot 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 dot, whatever." Alright guys, if you guys like this video, hit a like, share and subscribe. If you really like it, tell all your friends about it. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Like I said, I'm starting to repeat myself. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything great. We're gonna do great stuff on this channel. Make sure you stick around for that kind of stuff. Alright, see you soon. Be good. Have a good weekend. Take care. And as J-Ro says, take care or brush your hair.